Okay, so at this time, I am requesting approval of our 5 personnel action items as shared by Mr. O'Connor.
Can I ask you?
We're requesting
take a motion
approval, so
first.
she's gonna go ahead and ask for a motion to approve personnel items 1 through 5.
Okay, we need a motion on the floor to approve action items 1 through 5.
I'll make a motion that we approve action items 1 through 5.
Second. Motion on the floor to approve actions items 1 through 5 and second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it. Let's go with the first question.
So now, before going in, she can ask her.
Okay, so are
She's
there
gonna
any,
ask.
are there
Can I
any?
ask the question, Chair? All right. What, Mr. O'Connor?
Yes.
What are we doing about, hiring teachers versus having the subs? There's nothing wrong with the subs, but, just hearing that, a lot of them, I'm just here for babysitting. And I don't want the children to be left, struggling when it comes to the EOG. So how are we managing that?
Well, right now that's easier said than done. Like, we'd hire every teacher we could if we could find teachers. You're not finding traditionally licensed teachers in the state of North Carolina widely. As far as subs performance in the classroom, we've been doing the quality assurance reviews at all the schools. So the executive board, myself, Dr. Dallas, Dr. Register, Dr. Ramsher, Dr. Fortenberry, Dr. Hunt, we've been going through every school. And we've been observing the subs just like their teachers. And if they're not performing and they're not taking care of our kids, that's something we let each school administrator know. Now, sometimes we'll have people call us as far as an AP will call me and say, hey, this lady, she's subbing for me, she's terrible. Well, if that's the case, we take that person out and we try to find a new sub for them. Ultimately, we're trying to find a teacher for them. We have a lot of people that do have a college degree that are subbing for us that are interested in possibly teaching, but just haven't dove in yet. But sometimes we have the conversations where they call us and say, well, this lady's terrible, she's subbing for me. Well, you have to let us know that so we can take them off in finance, off the sub list, so that she's not coming back to your school or he's not coming back to your school or whoever it may be. We are looking at some alternative type of recruiting events for January and February of this year. And one of the reasons is if you go anywhere in the state right now and you have your pulse anywhere on any school district, right now is a burnout time for teachers. They're tired, they're ready for this break. Some of them are in districts that are looking for changes. So we are talking about doing probably an end of January type of job fair, just a regional job fair. We've also tried to reach out to the military and work with the base to try to do a little job fair for military spouses, or if there's some that have teaching credentials. We do get a lot of military teachers credentialed. There is no easy fix for it right now. We're trying to be creative in the ways that we approach it, but it's a very limited pool of applicants right now. So we have had, now I will say this, in the last 2, we haven't had an abundance of new hires for teacher. But in the last 2 board minutes, if you look, we've had some very high quality teachers coming in fully licensed, coming in, with experience. And we've had some good, what we call probation, kind of like probation, but on a provisional license or on a permit to teach. Just because they didn't have experience doesn't mean they don't have a passion to work with kids.
Right.
Doesn't mean they're not doing a good job. So we've tried to mix in, a little bit of everyone that we can find right now. But I mean, I'm with you 100%. I don't want them babysitting kids either. That's not helping kids. I don't want inexperienced people or people who don't know the job to be in the classrooms either. But you know, we're not in every classroom every day, so we need that communicated to us as well when people need that support or that help. We do send our BT coordinators out every day to work with the new teachers. And in a lot of cases, the principal asks, can you work with some of my more veteran teachers too? Because they need some help with things. So we're trying to support them. But as far as just attracting a bunch of new teachers, that's, everybody's trying to do that right now. We just have to be creative in how we go about it.
There is not a good pipeline coming out of North Carolina colleges right now for education. The pipeline is really dried up, and even out of state is starting to dry up as well. We used to get a lot of teachers from Pennsylvania, Ohio, Michigan, and that pipeline is starting to dry up as well. It used to be you could go to your local universities and they'd be graduating quite a few, but their classes are getting quite small.
We have been setting up job fair visits for the spring, and we called I can't remember if it was Charlotte or Greensboro, and A&T, because we're gonna hit two of them at the same time. One of them told us they have like 3 candidates graduating with teaching.
So it's the competition's tough too, you know, but yeah, the pipeline in the college systems is really, really dried up.
Any, are we doing sign-on bonuses? Are we doing that?
We have our sign-on, we do tuition reimbursement, we have the Echo Ridge, like we try to do some enticing as well.
And Dr. Dallas had, you know, we have been looking at the beginning of the year, she suggested, let's look at like a big sign-on bonus, like a big 5, 7, whatever it might be, right? Because I know like, I think Robinson County did one, I think Cumberland did it. And in talking with their HR directors, you know, the fine print on those bonuses is you must come in fully licensed. So at the end of the day, that bonus is only getting applied to a handful in the entire region that are coming in fully licensed. So, you know, it's something that Dr. Dallas and Ms. Chavis asked me to kind of track, like how many people will this apply, how, you know, what can we do for next year when we're planning this? So it's something we're looking at. It's a reality, you know. You know, the number one reason that people stay at their school or leave their school is typically school administration, but right behind it for leaving is compensation. And, you know, there are just marginal differences from county to county to county. So any marginal advantage you can get as far as a bonus or something like that plays in your favor.
So, Dr. O'Connor, I'm sorry, you had another question?
No, I'm going to another question.
Okay.
I just got one more question.
Okay, so you were saying that if the principal don't like the sub, or they're not doing, and you said that you just dismiss them?
No, we don't dismiss them, but, you know, for example, I've had people say the subs comes in constantly late. You know, she leaves the room and doesn't watch the kids or something like that. It's not that we dismiss that sub. One, the school administration needs to have a conversation with that sub and say what the expectations are. Hey, look, you may not have subbed before. And in a lot of cases, because everyone went to public school or to school, they think they know how school runs. So sometimes people show up, think in their head with what a sub job is going to be. Then they realize, oh, it's me and these 20 kids alone in this room. What if I have to go to the bathroom? What if I have to do this? What if, you know, and it hits them very quickly. So there is a coaching opportunity with our subs. We're not just letting them go, but more or less when we have subs that audibly say something like, I don't want to babysit these kids are, you know, whatever, that's unacceptable for anybody. I hope county schools talk about our kids that way. And those people typically we will take out of the rotation at the school. But I will say this, 9 times out of 10, the principal at the school and the bookkeeper at the school take care of that before it gets to human resources.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you want to ask your question first, Ms. Stevens?
It's different from this?
No, it's kind of tied in.
Okay.
On the flip side of substitute teachers, because we have some good ones. I know some that they sub almost a whole year. You know, I want to know what are we doing for those, I mean, maybe if we highlight those above and beyond substitute teachers, do something for them, it might entice more people.
Yeah,
to sub.
absolutely.
So I think that we should, and it's really been on me deep because I started as a substitute teacher. And a lot of times, yeah, they get paid, but to be appreciated
Mhm.
makes a difference. So is there anything that we're doing for the long-term substitute teachers on the flip side of the ones that saying, I'm just here
Right.
to babysit?
Right,
What
reward
are we
the
doing
ones
for
who know
those
what.
people?
So the first thing we've done is we've included, talking to other HR directors in the other districts, and then Dr. Dallas and 1A, when we discussed it, we were able to include them in a bonus for retention. So if they've been subbing loyally for us this year, they get a piece of the bonus as well, whereas typically a substitute teacher wouldn't be included. So, we want them to feel like we appreciate them monetarily, because it's nice to say, hey, we appreciate you, but it's also nice to get a check, right? But you're right, I don't know that we do enough to highlight them. You're 100% right.
I would love to.
And so, at the beginning of the year, we're trying to bring back our, like our teacher of the month, BT of the month, teacher assistant of the month, bus driver of the month. We're trying to hit all those as we get going into 2023. And so when we do that, that's a good idea. We'll include sub, because I don't think anyone mentioned that to us, but yes.
If I could clarify, this conversation is really sort of intended to reflect questions about the vacancy report. And to the extent we have questions that go beyond the vacancy report, that would be for administration outside the meeting. And if it needs to come back for discussion in a meeting format, we can do that and add it to a future agenda.
Okay, so I have one more question. As far as concerning the vacancy report, have we identified someone for Dr. Ray's position, or are we still interviewing?
We're at the point right now where we've got a finalist that we're looking at vetting qualifications and starting to do a reference check.
Is it male, female?
Ms. Gill, this is.
I just.
But, to that point, and the vacancy piece, that person, Ms. Ray's, is very important.
Extremely.
If we were to talk about a specific individual position.
That's what I'm talking about, Ms. Ray. I can't talk about a specific individual position. Okay, so that,
Can you address your concerns with Dr. Dallas after the meeting?
yeah.
Well, the good news is that I forgot what I was gonna ask.
So give you a minute, can you think of it?
Thank you. I'm gonna forget it, so I must say it now. It was brought to my attention about the online application for the substitutes. It's very complicated. Something worth looking into,
Okay.
because I was informed by several individuals that were interested, so I just gave up. It's just too complicated.
And whenever that happens, always, we can send them to HR and they will help them complete it. We have a desktop set up that they can come, and he's got staff that will actually go through it with them.
Yeah, we.
So
did
direct
two
them that way
yesterday.
before we lose them.
Okay.
Okay. So at this point, you would turn down for the superintendent's report, I think, right? We're done here, so you're gonna do this. Just pass it over to me.
Okay, at this time, we're gonna turn it over to the superintendent for the superintendent's report.
Okay, so not a lot of information this evening. We do have your updates for events. I know a lot of you have been in and out of events the last 2 weeks. We've got a couple more this week. I think there's 5 Thursday night. So there's a lot of things going on, but feel free, the staff do love to see their board members out there. Thursday, you have the Christmas luncheon at the Ag Center, that's at 12 o'clock. And then also we have hams for you. So at some time before Friday at 12, if you want to stop by the board, we did give all staff members a ham. So
Are
we'd
we-
like to
are
make
we-
sure you have one of those.
Are we, assigned to any school, any?
No, because it was hams and it was a little bit harder to get out there, they're not, this is, I know, not on topic. But they're not frozen, so our kind of push out
It's
was,
part of
this
your
is the
report.
first year we did it, yeah. So we really kind of pushed them out quick, and really the schools helped organize it, because in the past we've had frozen turkeys, but these were hams, so we had to kind of get them pushed out very
Okay,
quickly.
okay. When do we come by?
You can come by tomorrow, one day we'll get them to make sure they're in our refrigerator, you can come by tomorrow, maybe after 11, at any time through Friday.
Okay.
Now, what are we talking?
You can pick up a ham.
For who?
For you.
We gave all
Give it away.
employees a ham, a
Give it away.
Christmas ham.
I'll get that too.
So stop by the board for your Christmas ham. And that is all I have. We do have the next board meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, January 10th.
Okay, so does anyone have any questions? Anyone has any questions, anything they want to say?
Before she adjourns, and then you can make a motion for her to go get a motion to adjourn.
Okay, so if there's no more questions, I need a motion for the meeting to be adjourned.
Second.
We need a vote on the motion.
Oh,
So somebody,
she first, second, now you need to just say.
Okay, all in favor?
all in
Yes.
favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Meeting's adjourned.
Good job, good job. Forget motion, adjourn, approve.
Okay, yeah, we go. Yeah.
I know.
So, if you
We'll
want,
have
if
to
you
figure
have
out
questions about
is-